Hello, this is Carlos Almeida from SPK and Associates. Today we're going to take a very quick look at Atlassian's Advanced Roadmaps product. If you are on the premium plan for Atlassian Jira software, you're going to see this icon up here. Plans indicates that you can create an advanced roadmap. But before we go there, I think it would be good to start with what you get out of the box with a standard plan. So let's jump into a sprint project, and let's look at the roadmap feature that you get out of the box with standard. So if you look here, I have an epic, I have a story, some bugs, I can see the progress, I can see the sprint that I have active, I can see the time dates. A lot of cool things already right out of the box. One thing that I can't see is I had created a subtask here and it isn't visualized. So that's already a problem. And if I wanted to, say, create additional higher level issue types, for example, an initiative, I wouldn't be able to do that and have it visualized here. So you're pretty much limited to a single project and this level of visibility. So let's jump over now into Advanced Roadmaps and see why Advanced Roadmaps is really a very cool solution to give you better visibility. So we're going to go back to Plans. I'm going to create a plan. And I'm going to create my plan, let's say, cross-project plan. And this is actually the name of the plan. It really gives away what I think is one of the most important value adds for Advanced Roadmap. I can aggregate and see and manipulate across multiple projects at the same time. That's quite powerful. So here you may want to name it like the name of the product you're making, or maybe the department, your organization, instead of just having it for that specific epic for that individual project. So the other thing I would do here is I'm going to start off by making this a private plan. That way I can play with it, and when I'm ready to share it, I can open it up to the world. And then this is where I can choose how I want to aggregate things in. And I could take a board or I could take a filter, but a best practice is really to start with a project, because you can reduce things later, but project gives you a good pulling in of all the artifacts in that area. So I'm going to start with this project here, which is my company managed. I'm not going to worry about team for now. And then I'm going to add another one. Similar deal, project. And I'm going to call this my second project. I'm going to create it. So immediately I can see that I am looking at multiple projects in the same view. And also subtasks are available, right? That's immediately you get that value. So let's explore this a little bit here. One of the first things I really like about Advanced Roadmaps is this warnings view here. So when you are creating projects and subtasks, there are a lot of things that you could have as a problem. One of the areas that I often see is that you'll create a subtask that the date starts before the parent, and then you end up having basically a mismatch. So here, right off the bat, you can filter for all sorts of problems and look across multiple projects here. If there's a problem, you'll see the little yellow triangle pop up there, and then you can click into it and resolve those problems, which is very, very cool. Another thing that we'll dig into, let's look at the configuration. So out of the box, you're going to be set up with days and hours. But if you're doing sprint planning for estimation, you'll probably want to toggle it to story points. Similarly, you essentially have two dates that you're really working with here. So you'll want to define that, but this can be a custom field if you want to build that out. Let's look at some of the filters here. Again, this is very powerful. If I wanted to just choose all the sprints, I could choose the sprint names and it would filter the view just by that. And if I wanted to look at particular issue types, I could filter on the types. So immediately I can look across multiple projects and see that sort of filtering, which is very, very nice. Also in here, I can do some roll-ups of things. For instance, I want to aggregate my dates. As soon as I do that, it will take my epic. And notice how I actually had, let me go back. I actually had the epic starting way before any of my tasks underneath it were. So it was sort of not aligned. So when I do this, it actually munches it together and gives me a nice aggregated view for that bar, which is very powerful. And then let's do some work here. So again, what I really love is I can manage tasks across projects. For instance, if I wanted to move some things up, right? I'm working, this is my second project and this is my first project. All I'd have to do is grab it and bring it over here, right? And so as I make these changes, I'm moving issues from one project to another. Over here, it's tracking everything that's going on. So everything I've done so far, nothing actually happened in the Jira database other than this graphical change here. When you click on that, it will tell you all the changes that were made, and then if you want to apply those changes, all I have to do is say yes. If I don't and I want to discard them, then I can. So I'm going to discard it in this case. So for me, that's really easy now. I can manipulate across projects. Let's add some fields. This is very powerful. I can essentially grab any field I'm interested in that's available in the projects and present them in one shot. I can sort by them. I can select different sprints. For instance, I have an active sprint in this one here with a few items that are in the backlog. I can see which items are in there. I can see which ones are different priorities. And I can make changes here instead of having to go back into the Jira project on its own. It really just saves so much time. It makes it much easier. I can move it to different assigned folks. It really just makes life so much easier. Another thing I can do, and this is amazing here, I have some things that I have not set a date on. Why don't we do it right here? And I'll do another one. So again, I haven't actually changed the database yet. All I've done is created in this graphical representation. So I'm queuing up my changes here. Aside from putting in the dates, I would like to also do some linkages here. So I'm going to create a dependency. So now I can look at the dependency here, and I can go and do a dependencies report, and I can see the blockage right away. And that is quite powerful. to the timeline view. And I think I'll apply these changes. So now in my Jira project, those tickets have been updated with the correct dates, and now the relationship blocks are applied. And the time saving is incredible here. Another thing I like about this is if I need to share my projects or this whole thing, my projects out to somebody else, I can create a Confluence link so somebody else can get it from there, or I can export it to CSV and provide that as something that another tool needs to embed. I can have a picture of it if I needed to do that, generating a preview for me. So it's very cool.